Hey everybody, hey everybody, hi hi. Ah, what a day, what a day, what a day. I got super caffeinated today and I got like a whole bunch of stuff done. On Wednesday, I went on like a 4 hour ruck. I got a nice new backpack, a Gonex um, canvas bag with like supports and everything. Like, oh my god, it's so good. And it's not like super crazy like my framed backpack that I had when I was like living in homeless shelters back in like 2010 to 2014. That one's really, really, really supportive, but it's a little bit too crazy. A little bit too much for everyday usage. It's more for like backpacking in the mountains or being homeless. But this one, honestly, for everyday usage, for like rucking and for like hiking or camping, like it's pretty damn good. It doesn't fit as much as the other one. The other one's really good for like actually backpacking. Like if you're going to be like putting a sleeping bag and like maybe even a tent connected to like on top of it, like cuz it has a metal frame. That one's really like for more crazy adventures. But like the one I have, the one that I just got, super good. And I have it organized. I put like a first aid kit in it. Like I have like emergency stuff in it. Like it's super great. But I can put my laptop in there, go for a rucking hike, which is more efficient and like it builds bone density, which is like I'm at a risk for low bone density. Like I have low bone density. Hey, thanks for subscribing to Our World podcast. If this world was mine. How you doing? How you doing? Uh Basically, like, since I have lower bone density, I'm at risk for osteoporosis. Hopefully I want to avoid that later in life. And so, um, going rucking is, or, like putting weight, like, it really builds lower back strength and upper back strength, but like mostly lower back strength and all that. Hey, Christian Pena, how you doing? Builds lower back strength, uh, keeps your stuff with you, so like water, emergency food, emergency like first aid kit, like my writing supplies. So like, my laptop and like notebooks and pens and stuff. So it's like I have everything, and then like reading material and all sorts of stuff. So it's like, yeah, I can just bring all my stuff with me, and also use it as weight for exercise. So that's great. That's fantastic, Caleb. Um, it's really good energy efficient workout. You get more efficient workout with less time and less traveling. But on Wednesday, I went for 4 hours. But today, or I guess yesterday, I had 3 different cups of guarana. So 3 grams of guarana, which is like 6 cups of coffee, basically. Do you listen to rap? Sometimes. It's a little bit too intense for me. It's a lot of there's a lot of lore. like there's a lot of lore to rap, and it's hard to understand the lore. I'd have to really do a deep dive into it. King Von, I have no idea who that is. Um, I'd really have to do a deep dive into rap. I like hip hop. Rap is just hard to get into without knowing the lore. It's really hard. It's like learning a language without going to the country. It's like that. Oh, he died to a gunshot? That sucks. Anyway, like today, I got a lot done. I went on a shorter ruck today. like a 30-minute ruck, and then another 30-minute ruck. But I had 3 grams of guarana throughout the day, which is way too much. That's why I went rucking, is to burn that energy off. And I did a good amount of writing. I think I wrote like 2,000 words. But I've been starting to utilize structured prompts using ChatGPT to write like kind of almost like a worksheet, almost like it's homework. And then I go line by line and just write like a few sentences or even a few paragraphs or even like 5 or 6 paragraphs. I'll like do a free write and just answer each question one by one. It makes it a lot easier to write. I think I'm already on my way to writing a blog post. It definitely gets a rough draft out there. And then I can go in later and, go in and refine it for publishing. I want to start writing a single blog post per week. At the very least, a single blog post per month. But ideally, I would work throughout the whole week, giving like 1 or 2 days of rest if needed. But I want to like just be able to show up to my writing desk, just take a few questions and just start writing, like answering specific structured questions. For example, I can show you like kind of somewhat of, what happened? Oops. I could show you some of what, I guess I can do that. What's this? Oh. So, you can see right here, there's the question, what version of yourself does that and like this is like in the middle of a writing. And then I just answer the questions. But I was actually going to show you the laptop just a second. By the way, this is my highly optimized Debian 12 environment using basically just, I log in. Basically, I mostly use just terminal emulator called Kitty, like a kitty cat. And I'm using DWM, which is a super lightweight tiling window manager. I'm basically just using 3 different terminals. This is, if I'm not using LibreOffice, I could literally just docx to text and just output it to the standard out so that there's no CPU usage. And with no CPU usage, with idle CPU usage only, and like super low CPU usage, I'm using Word Grinder for drafting. LibreOffice is what I use for revising and getting ready for publishing. But Word Grinder is a good collection tool for either direct drafting or if I draft elsewhere, like by hand or something, then I would like take it and put it in here. Basically, I already completed a whole section of the blog article. A whole section of the article is already completed. Basically, what thought or feeling comes up when you sit down to write for your blog? What physical sensation or mood usually accompanies that feeling? Is it different than writing privately versus writing for others? And this one actually, I never really see this structure of the writing adds like a whole other layer to my writing that I never usually explore. And that's like really big deal for me because it's like, this is something that I haven't really explored too much, but here's the thing. I have this desire to write, but I don't even know how to come up with any ideas for what to write about. It's like I'm staring at a vending machine and looking for what soda to drink, but don't even know which one I want. Do I even want a soda, or am I just getting one because the vending machine is here? And this is like a perfect metaphor, or what do you call it? A simile. It's like a perfect simile for how I feel about writing structured writing, which is why I need to just like practice just treating it like a homework assignment. Just write questions. And right now I'm having ChatGPT write the questions. It's a lot easier. Because the way I use ChatGPT, I'm the one doing the writing. I usually use ChatGPT just to do like, prompts. I want it to use research to find the best way to lead me to the answer. Almost like the Socratic method. I guess it is the Socratic method. But I'd rather a person mentor me, but in the absence of a person, I can use ChatGPT. A person directly mentoring you is always going to be higher quality, because that person there's a social connection. It's way more powerful. But even besides the social connection, that person will know you a lot better over time and can understand what you need. But, in the absence of that, ChatGPT is great for just super quick and dirty, prompts. These are all the prompts. And I can just pick one from any of the sections. And I set up ChatGPT prompts for writing blog article prompts. I set it up in a way so that it leads me towards, basically, if I just answer every question, I more or less have a complete blog article. Like more or less, like a draft at least. I would have to do some trimming and fix it up, but basically if I just go through line by line, just answer each question, maybe skip ones. The thing I like about Word Grinder, I really like Word Grinder, because what you can do is you can set up little documents inside of the documents. And so you basically just add them, like, this is the whole structure of the blog article. These are all the questions. I haven't answered any of the questions for section 2. It was a little bit harder for me to go through. It's a little bit too esoteric for me right now. Name the inner critic, and if your self-doubt had a voice. This is a little bit difficult for today. But I moved on to section 3. And, this one's about finding the quiet truth. The voice inside my head that tells me you need to write this down exists for a reason. I wish to uncover what it is, and the joy of going to my writing desk, no matter which version of it, is never a waste of time. If there was even the slightest chance that I will uncover the quiet truth of why my writing exists. Because I know I write a lot. Like, I write a lot. But I need to structure it in a way to create things that are higher value, that are much more accessible to people besides me, and especially to me. Because if I'm just writing without any structure, I'm not going to be able to utilize it, and definitely other people won't be able to. So why do you write even when you feel like you shouldn't? And here's the thing is, I never feel like I shouldn't write. This was actually kind of hard to answer, so I had to kind of reframe it. But why do I write even when I feel like I shouldn't? When have I ever felt that I shouldn't write? There is something holding me back sometimes. See, I had to kind of understand, within my own relative process, there are times when I feel like I shouldn't write, but it's a little different than what I think. It's not that I shouldn't write, it's that I just, for some reason, I don't. It's a little bit different. But it's like there's something holding me back sometimes. And I know I should be writing, even though there's always that gentle reminder that there is no should in anything we do, more of an itch. There are times when I simply refuse to take action, and my opportunity to write fades away. But if I manage to force that feeling away and get to writing, there's a reason. If I don't do it, the thoughts have nowhere to go, and I end up driving myself insane. That's it, really. I can't go without writing, even if I wanted to. When I do, it ends up hurting me. When I'm exceptionally depressed, it ends up happening a lot more, and it becomes that much harder to get myself out of it. So I write to empty those thoughts somewhere, anywhere. It needs somewhere to go, and if I don't let them, they attack me in a vicious circle of relentless repetition and self-deprecating attacks. That's kind of where I left off today. I wrote a lot for section 1 for this article. I wrote some other stuff for a private journal that I'm not going to show you. But I also have like a whole other document just for private journaling. So I can always have something to write. Even if I have writer's block, there's no excuse. I just go in, I pick a random topic, and I might even pick the same topic on multiple days. So like the process I have is that for my journaling mega document, which has at least 20 prompts already, and I can probably add to it later. But I have 20 separate prompts in like a journaling basically it's I have a separate prompt that's basically a prompt list that's basically just a writer's blockbuster. And no matter what, I just pick whatever I'm feeling, just pick like a topic, and then just go through the questions, and I'll write different things depending on the day. So I'll have separate days, and I might not write the same one twice in a row, but I might write the same one later on. So it's like I basically have a system. I can kind of show you. I have a template that specifically WordGrinder allows you to create templates. I have a template just for journaling, and basically, I have like a scratch pad, a main journal, to-do list, notes, calendar, work, even star, which is my biggest, most ambitious novel, and stories. Stories are for like whatever other novel I'm working on, or short stories or anything like that. But I basically iterate a new document every day. And what I would do is instead of, I wouldn't really do this document, but what I would do is, if I go in here and I make a new document set, you go in here and there's no documents besides the main one. But when you go in and you go to add new manage documents is actually easier. Rename this to like I would say like I would work on prompt number 3, and I would name it for the day, and then maybe later I make like prompt 12 and name it, and then it's like for that day, and I would name the document by the date, and I would order them in order from like 1 to 20, depending on whatever I write that day. I'm obviously not going to write all 20 in a single day, most likely. But then what you do is you can switch between, I don't have it bound. If I make a new document, because I have usually I use the template just as a starting point because it creates a few document sets, and it has autosave on, and it has, actually I don't think it does, but it has the binding set for documents already, so it's like I don't have to do that every time. And then you just like press 0 or 1. I might just keep 0 as like a scratch because it's harder to press 0 on the keyboard than it is to press 1 and 2 and 3. Like, so I think like best thing to do is to go into File, go into Manage Documents, and create a new document and just call it Scratch or Scrap, and then move it up. And then so I can always have just like a free writing, like, you know, just for writing whatever. And that's separate from like the actual main work of the day. Like if I want to answer question 3 and then just do like 3.1.1 and whatever question it is, and then just start typing the question, you know, the answers for how I'm feeling at that time. But yeah, like, it's pretty much what I've been up to. And I do my journals just, you know, day by day by day. I iterate my novel work. I work on my novel in LibreOffice mostly, because then I have access to all the previous writing. It's such a big work that it requires... Oh, hi, life. It's such a big work that I can't do it like small sections, really, unless I'm just drafting up something really quick and I don't want to open up the full document. But for this one, we don't need to save that tutorial one that I showed you. But yeah, tomorrow or maybe tonight, I am pretty caffeinated. Like I had 3 grams of guarana over the course of the day. So even though I did go on a ruck and drink plenty of water and ate some healthy food and some not so healthy food like Cheez-Its, I like guarana. It's not the same as coffee. Like, obviously I had way too much. I'm not going to have 3 grams. I'm kind of limit testing it. It's like vegan meth. No, basically, I'm not going to have that much. That's like 6 cups of coffee. That's a lot. I almost never have that much caffeine. I was just kind of limit testing. It does, like, because I took so much, it was like, it really made me like kind of racing thoughts and jittery. But like normally I just have 1 gram of it per day. Unless I'm going to go on a 4-hour ruck. If I'm going to go on a 4-hour ruck, I might have a second one. But it mostly just kind of keeps you alert. It doesn't make you like... if you take a normal amount, like 1 gram, or even half a gram of guarana, which is like... A gram is like 220 milligrams of caffeine, but it absorbs differently than coffee. It absorbs a lot slower. It also has, I forgot what it's called, theobromine. I think that's what it's called. It's the same chemical that's in chocolate. So it's kind of like a feel-good, like, amino acid or whatever. Amino chain. And it also has another one of those. I forgot what. But it's basically like, kind of keeps focus and like, like focus and feel goodness, in addition to a slow burning caffeine. I am absolutely falling in love with guarana. And it's not guano, it's not bat poop. It's a seed, and I believe it's from Brazil. It's definitely a South American traditional beverage. Um, I get it in powdered form, and it's so insanely cost effective. Way cheaper than coffee. Although I put it in decaf coffee so that I get the taste of coffee. Aw, thank you. I did half a heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, High Life. Um, yeah, I'm basically like feeling like really productive today, but also one of my journal entries that I will talk about today. I don't always talk about my journals because they're private, but one of the journal entries I did do that's like, something I can share publicly is like this constant need to always be doing something that's productive instead of just allowing myself to rest. Like, it's just crazy. Like, this hustle culture mindset that the world drills into us is so damaging. Please read book. Please read book. I'm not going to read you my journal. I could find that entry. Let me go find it. I can find that entry for you. That one was more kind of public facing. Documents, writing. Okay. I think I put it in notes. Oh yeah, anti-block. Oops. Oh, I may have written it in, oh, there it is, antiblocks.wg. Here we go. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the mental health one because that's more private. Mental health is not equal to, oh, it is, okay. I just need to double check. Yeah, I think this one is safe too. I mean, most of my journals, I make sure that I'm a pretty public-facing person, even in my most kind of intimate thoughts. The stuff that I keep private are more like... There's very few things I keep private, and not all of them are like really dramatic. It's just more like there are things that I do think that there's like a spiritual need to keep a public version of things and a private version of things, like for a spiritual reason. Just because I feel like when you write with the idea that someone else is going to see it, there's a very different mental process than when you're writing just for yourself. So sometimes I write things that I will never share specifically because I need that different version of writing. And it's important to have that sacred, regardless of what the topic is. But let's go. How do you manage your mental health without it turning into productivity? The first question, well, I didn't answer that main point one, but these are all related to this, the sub-points. So 15.1, what small things help you feel okay without needing to be impressive? And I wrote, there are some things I feel to be more important than most people would recognize. I notice the profound in the mundane. Things such as preparing my backpack to be ready for an outdoor adventure, or even just ready for whatever the day brings. That helps me feel grounded in safety as well as utility. And the second question, what does okay mean when no one's watching? Yeah, so there are things that happen inside my own mind that I know for a fact nobody is able to witness. I feel okay when I respond to a frustrating situation with calm focus. I feel okay when I'm able to challenge my self-limiting beliefs. I feel okay when I know when I know I have my basic needs ready, such as the concept of having my backpack stocked with supplies, even if I most likely won't need 100% of them every time I go out with it. Having water, food, all of that stuff taken care of, and knowing I can rest helps me feel okay. Knowing I took my, I need to put my glasses on. Probably nothing for 4th of July, to be honest. Knowing I took my medications and flossed/brushed my teeth so that I know I can rest knowing it's taken care of helps me to feel okay. See, like this kind of structure to my journaling and to my writing, it makes me write things that I normally don't write down. It's giving me like a lot more structure, and I'm going to end up writing a lot more useful writing, I think. What do you do when you're just existing, not healing, not growing? This one is difficult for me because a lot of the time I feel like I am not using my time efficiently if I'm not healing or growing. I feel like I'm behind, like I need to work harder in order to catch up to the rest of the world. If I allow myself to simply exist without making some sort of progress, I start to feel like I'm going to be stuck living in this situation forever. I have so much work to do, so when I'm not being productive, I feel like I'm a failure. But usually what I do is I try to find one small thing to help me feel a little bit less unproductive, but not do so much that it overwhelms me. Something like doing a few squats. That way I not only do something that helps me, but it feels good. If I'm sitting for a while without doing something to move and stretch, I'm going to end up with health problems. And so it's something that's productive that's also a part of feeling good in the moment. By doing something like that, I feel more grounded in the present and less guilty for quote-unquote doing nothing, without going so far that I take away the ability to simply rest and recover. Resting is just as productive, if not more so, than constantly busying myself with things. I can see it that way. If I want to be productive, I can remind myself that I already am being productive by allowing myself to rest. Just like right now, I don't need to go on a several-hour hike to have a successful ruck. I can go to the library and sit down to write. The small trips truly matter and add up over time. And then write a list of objects or actions that would never appear in a wellness commercial but save you anyway. And, just going in like a little bit of a list and short explanations. Notebook. This one is for writing. I can use it as a worry pad, quote-unquote worry pad, or simply to organize my thoughts for problem solving. Unscented baby wipes. These help me feel clean, especially with feminine hygiene. Nobody would think of putting this in a wellness commercial, but a lot of everyday objects are more valuable than the most expensive course, supplement, or device. And see, here's like an important thing, as even though I was literally writing about the unscented baby wipes, I kind of expanded on a broader category of the starting with nobody would and let me underline this. This is like a broader statement that goes beyond the literal topic. So when I do writing like this, I might come up with like bigger, kind of broader topics and talking points. So like the idea that a lot of everyday objects are more valuable than the most expensive course, supplement, or device. Have you ever felt guilt for resting? Why? It feels like when I'm resting, I'm being lazy. I know that in order to take care of important things, I must be rested and able to focus on the task, but that doesn't stop me from feeling this way. Just now in the library, I felt judgmental over hearing someone snore. I was thinking to myself, what a loser, sleeping in the library, and stopped myself. What's wrong with getting some much needed rest? I'm not that person. I'm not aware of how tired that person is. I have memories of feeling so tired I could fall asleep in a chair. I have memories of feeling so tired I could fall asleep in a chair. Besides, why am I judging someone for sleeping? It's a vital task for any of us. Without rest, we can't function. But hustle culture has burned this idea into so many of us that we absolutely must be doing something that either earns us money, grows our career, trains our bodies, or builds our relationships at all times, or we're failing. It's quite the opposite. If your car doesn't have any gas, it's not going to go anywhere. Simple as that. Here, let me underline that. Yeah, and then I kind of stopped there. But yeah, like, and then I just I'm not going to show this, but like, I have a command that backs up to the cloud. Well, first of all, I need to turn Wi-Fi on. I keep Wi-Fi and Bluetooth off. Like, for example, like, it should be off. I think it is off. Yeah, I have it off by default. Keep the radio signals off, like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It saves battery. And I also have like a battery cycle. I have it plugged in, but it's not charging. So it only starts charging when the battery gets down below 65%. And I have two different batteries in this laptop because it's a ThinkPad. Yeah, it has a hot swappable battery. It's freaking sweet. But anyway, I have a way to back up to the cloud that I set up in command line. And this is just a bash script. It's not like... Yeah, so like I back up, to my various places. And it only backs up new documents. And then it's done. And then I turn Wi-Fi off. Suspend. And saving power. Saving lives. I don't know about that. But, yeah, I think today's been pretty productive and I'm still going there. I got a stack of books to read. I got some stacks of romance I'm reading because I'm writing a new novel project that's a little bit more straightforward, but I need to research by reading. I'm reading this one right now. This one's a bit steamy. And it's about an autistic woman. It's written by an autistic woman. Main character is autistic. And it's like a romance with like having a sexual relationship dealing with autism issues. Like that's actually really important. This one I think is like how to write like witty humor. I basically just researched, like, I've been using Perplexity and ChatGPT for stuff. Basically to come up with ideas, and then I'm the one who does the stuff. That's the way you use AI. That's like the proper way to use it. Like, you will get so much more value out of AI, like ChatGPT, if you use it to gather vast amounts of research for you and then have it give you a bird's eye view of something in a way that will lead you towards your own creations. That's the best way to use it. See my painting? I don't have a painting. What are you talking about? I don't have any paintings. Oh, you mean... what painting? You said see your artist, see your paint. That wasn't my art. That was someone else's book. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Are you high life? I was showing you books, and it wasn't mine. I'm not very good at drawing, but I do try to sketch every now and then. It is really therapeutic. It's more of a therapy sketching, but then I get a little bit too obsessed with it, and I get mad that I'm not very good, and I try to get better. And drawing is a really difficult skill that requires a lot of time investment. And I'd rather put that time into my writing rather than drawing. To be completely honest, we only have so many hours and so much energy per day. Miss you too, High Life. That's why I do these little updates. You only have so much time and energy per day. And if you spend it doing too many things, you're really not going to accomplish everything that you can and the things that you really care about. And so I need to kind of focus on just like maybe one or two things in my life. My performance art career, and my writing career. Those are two things that I have spent my whole life in some form pursuing. And I need to capitalize on the compound interest, so to speak, that I have spent at least 30 years of my life as a writer and as a performance artist in some shape or form. Yeah, like dance. Dance is something kind of new. I've never been trained. I've been slightly trained as a dancer, but I need a lot more work. But I've always felt the music. There's a very different thing. There's like being able to feel the music and have like a natural dancing mindset and ability. But then natural ability is not a replacement for skill training. But skill training is not a replacement for natural ability. You have to be able, you can't just do something with skill alone. You have to utilize the skill. Skill is like the grammar. You have to train another thing inside of you. It can be trained. It's not just natural talent. You have to train the ability inside of yourself to understand your voice. Your voice is different than the grammar. If that makes any sense. Like as a writer, you can understand the dictionary and how grammar works. And you know, but writing isn't just copy pasting a whole bunch of tropes. It's being able to write your own perspective, writing your own voice. Do you have a cooking channel? That would be fun. I'm not quite set up for that. Maybe when I move into my new place and I can set up my cooking environment and I can do cooking streams. That'll be good. But we're not there yet. I can't really do it here in the trailer. It's not really that good. We've done it a few times on stream, but it's not good. I will when I have my new house, because I'm gonna move eventually. I don't know how soon, but I have so many resources now. I have so many eyeballs and so much support. It's just I can't see it until I actually get to it. And I don't know how long that's going to be. But I need to rest assured that it will happen. It just won't happen as fast as I would like it to. And it might happen a lot sooner than I realize. You know, it might not be this, you know, it might not be within the next few months. It might not be within the next year. I really hope it doesn't take a year. I really hope. Like, come on. I've been like waiting like 6 years trying to wrestle with resources. I really hope it doesn't take another 6 years. Come on. I deserve a change. I deserve a break. Like, I got my surgery. Oh, I got both surgeries. And do I have to go through the whole process again just to get housing? Can we just not do that? Like, can we just get me to a better place so I can start working on what matters? But I can't do anything to make that go faster. I can do the best I can, but I think, like, earning money isn't really working out right now. And so I'd rather spend my time and energy taking care of the basics, like exercising every day, taking care of like flossing and brushing my teeth, taking care of all my hygiene, taking care of my writing, because my writing career is just as important as my performance artist career. I'm a performance artist, but I'm also a writer. Those are two very different things, but they're also very performative. It's two different versions of performance. One is more kind of focused and private, but it's also public. And then the other is very, very, very outward projecting, but also has its own. You kind of have to do a lot of stuff in private, like practicing. But interestingly enough, a lot of the stuff you practice nowadays can be done publicly. You can kind of practice while you're performing in a lot of things, because you can have live streaming. Now, it doesn't mean you should, live stream every single part of the process, but you can, at least some of it. So, like, you can utilize your time so effectively if you just like allow yourself to, and get over the fact that it's going to suck. It's not going to be very entertaining. Maybe not many people are going to watch, but at the very least you can show up and do it, and it builds something inside of you, a confidence. And I'm going to write about this eventually. Maybe that'll be my next blog article after this one is finished. I want to start focusing on one thing at a time. So I'm going to finish this blog article. I've already done two sections out of 5. And tomorrow I'm going to work on more, or maybe tonight. But after I finish this article, I think my next one is going to be like, what performing even when nobody is watching, when you know a camera is on you, when you know that people will show up, like High Life, like you, viewers like you. When people show up and you know that people are watching, or that people can potentially watch, something happens inside your brain that you can't replace. No amount of practice that's in private will ever train you for that. The only thing that will train you is performing. And if you're not performing in public, you're missing out on a vital training that you wouldn't have until you start performing publicly, even when nobody's watching. It has nothing to do with the results. It has nothing to do with how many people are watching. It's all about building an absolute confidence inside of yourself, that you know that you're going to stumble and fall and make mistakes, but you're just going to roll with it. And nothing else can train you for that. Because in the practice room, in like a studio environment, you can make infinite retries. If you're live streaming, you get one shot. Obviously, you get more than one shot, as you find out. Over enough time, you realize that a lot of the mistakes you make on live stream are not life-ending. Most of them aren't. Most of them are not career-ending either, unless you're really problematic. But then you should probably change that. Should I write a cowboy book? No, I'm focusing on romance right now. I'm taking a break from epic fantasy, And I'm not taking a break from fantasy. My current romance novel is a fantasy romance. But romance is very different than epic fantasy sci-fi elements. You know, it's not really focused on the magic system. It's not really focused on the political elements. It's focused on the romance relationship. And with romance, I found out it has to end with one of three things: happily ever after, happy for now, happily ever after for now, or happy for now. Because that's the expectation in a romance. You're there because you're rooting for them to win, and if they don't win, it's like it's kind of ruins the whole thing. It's like people read romance for the steamy parts because it's not, I mean, there's tension, but like, you know, there's a lot of nuance I can explore, and that's why I'm doing a lot of reading. That's why I have a stack of books here. I'm gonna read all these romance novels, and I'm really looking forward to a Court of Thorns and Roses. But anyway, I'm gonna get going. It's been 51 minutes. Bye bye. You know, I'm doing a lot, and it's like the more I keep track of it, the more I realize how much I actually am putting into my work. Like, I just gotta, like, focus, keep things structured, and just keep, like, one little question at a time. And a little question can turn into, like, 10 paragraphs sometimes. Maybe it's only a sentence or two. But either way, I'm going sentence by sentence, like, question by question by question, piece together the work, one little tiny piece at a time. I don't have to write the whole thing. I can just go in and treat it like a video game. Just do one little teeny tiny piece at a time, and that is a success. It's not a failure just because I don't finish in one session. I need to get through that through my head. Get it through your head, Rebecca. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get it through your head. You dumb bitch.